Hello internet, my name is Lave and I watched Aladdin, which is directed by Guy Ritchie, who, when it was announced that he was directing this, I'm sure like many of you, I was like, huh, Guy Ritchie? And then my next thought was, who are they going to get to play the Genie? And it was like Will Smith. I was like, oh, okay. And then the trailers dropped and I was like, oh, yeah. And everyone, I think at that point started to think, yeah, this could be a car crash. Now that I've seen the film, I don't think it is a car crash. It's not amazing, but it isn't as bad as everyone was thinking it was going to be. Plot-wise, you know the story, but I'm going to say it again anyway. It's about Aladdin, a good-natured street thief who finds a lamp with a genie and uses it to become a prince to charm Princess Jasmine, all whilst trying to thwart the plans of the evil Jafar. Story-wise, it really doesn't stray that far from the original animation. There are a few tweaks along the way, most notably with regards to Princess Jasmine. Like Disney are tending to do with a lot of their latest movies, they're bringing their princesses more in line with PC culture. And Naomi Scott is really good as Jasmine. I actually think it worked really well what they did with her. She's got an affinity for her people and she wants to lead them. She's not just a princess who wants to choose who she wants to marry. But as a result of focusing more on Jasmine, Aladdin feels like the least important character in his own movie. I did quite like the guy they got to play him. I think his name's Mena Massoud, but there was something about his performance that felt just a bit wooden. I will say that he looks the part and so does Jasmine, but yeah, there's something quite wooden about his performance and I wasn't completely bought into their chemistry. But the character that you all want to know about is the Genie, and Will Smith is okay as the Genie. I mean, I like Will Smith. I grew up watching Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. The guy has got tons of charm, but he's not as good as Robin Williams. But then I guess no one was really expecting him to be as good as Robin Williams. I think he's done as good as he can do with this role. I think the hardest thing to get past is the CG. It's like they've taken Will Smith's head, put it on a bodybuilder's body and then made it blue. His head just didn't look like it was part of that body, and at times it fell into that uncanny valley. But I will say that they do stick with it. After the trailers dropped, I thought, well, they're blatantly gonna make him revert to his human form for the most of the film, but they stick with it. I'd say he's the Genie, the blue Genie, for about 50% of it, and then the human Will Smith for the rest of it. The other casting choice that had me a bit worried from the trailer was Jafar. There was something about his voice that didn't seem quite right. If anything, he reminded me of a character from Rick and Morty, Beth's friend, who gets trapped in Fruity Land. As an example, let me play you a clip from the trailer and then a clip from Rick and Morty to demonstrate what I mean.
You stumbled upon an opportunity. I can make you rich.
All right, everybody. Next item on the docket. I would like to have sex with some of you and then eat the babies.
Once I had that in my head, I just couldn't get past it. I mean, he's okay, he's quite villainous, but I think for a character like Jafar, you really want someone who can do kind of Alan Rickman level of villainy, like his role in Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, and he's just not at that level. I do wonder if maybe they could have recast him, and funny enough, in the film, the person that they got to play Sultan, Jasmine's dad, was actually way more intimidating, and I started thinking, he should have been cast as Jafar. But going back to the CG and removing the Genie from that, the CG is actually pretty good. I thought they could have done a bit more work on Abu, but the tiger looked fantastic and Agrabah itself looked incredible, really well realised. I like the fact that they did a lot of live shooting as well. They actually shot some of the stuff in the desert, so that gets a plus. And of course you get all of the musical numbers from the original, like Friend Like Me and Prince Ali and A Whole New World.
Don't you dare close your eyes.
They even throw in a new one sung by Jasmine called Speechless, I think it's called, and they are definitely going for the same kind of vibes as the song from Frozen, and Naomi Scott really goes for it. I mean, like, really goes for it to the point where she's like almost shouting it at one point. The most interesting thing for me is getting Guy Ritchie to do this film. Like, I do wonder if he had to be convinced to do this or if this is something he genuinely wanted to do. There is a line in the film at one point where someone says it's clumsy but kind of charming, and that's kind of how I feel about the film. Like, if you keep an eye out for one of the early songs when Aladdin is running through the streets with Jasmine and they're singing this like jump song, there's a really odd sequence when the footage has been sped up, but it's all in line with the dialogue. So I don't know if like something went wrong there. It just looked a bit weird. And also, I do think it's kind of ironic that this film is about kind of being truthful to who you are. And there's none of like Guy Ritchie's personality in this, none of that kind of fast zippiness and really interesting way of editing stuff. Apart from like one scene when Aladdin is having a conversation with Genie, at the same time Jasmine is having a conversation with her handmaiden, and it flips back and forth between those conversations. So that was kind of cool. But other than that, it feels really devoid of Guy Ritchie's personality. Speaking of Jasmine's handmaiden, who I think is a new character for this, she's played by an actress called Nasim Pedrad, and at first I thought she was really going to annoy me. She's like comic relief, but she really made me laugh in the few scenes that she's in. And also Billy Magnussen, the guy from Game Night, is also in this in a couple of scenes, and he stole the show. Like, I really wanted to see more of those characters. So that's my thoughts on Aladdin, and pause the video if you want to take a closer look at my enjoyment tracker now. Like I say, I don't think this is the car crash that everyone was expecting it to be. I definitely think that it's too long. It's like 2 hours, so good luck getting your kids to sit through it all. But there is enough fun, and Will Smith does inject his much needed charm to it. But like I say, it's not as good as the Robin Williams performance, and it's not as good as the original animation. So thanks very much for watching this review. I really do appreciate it. If you've seen it, let me know what you thought down in the comments. And as always, thanks very much for checking this out. I really do appreciate it. If you can, give it a like, and don't forget to share the Lave. Don't you dare close your eyes. Subscribe.